The night was thick with darkness as Jake drove along the desolate highway that cut through the heart of Texas. The only illumination came from the weak glow of his headlights, casting long shadows that danced along the edges of the road. The air was still, and an eerie silence hung in the atmosphere, broken only by the low hum of the engine and the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Jake had heard the stories about this highway, tales of strange happenings, ghostly apparitions, and unexplainable phenomena that plagued the desolate stretch of road. He never believed in such things, dismissing them as nothing more than the product of overactive imaginations. However, as he continued to drive through the night, a sense of unease began to creep over him. The road seemed to stretch on endlessly, winding through vast expanses of empty land. The occasional flickering street lamp provided momentary relief from the oppressive darkness, but it also cast long, distorted shadows that played tricks on Jake's mind. He shook off the feeling of foreboding, attributing it to fatigue and the isolation of the highway. As he drove further, a dense fog began to roll in, enveloping the road in a ghostly shroud. Jake squinted through the mist, struggling to see the path ahead. The air inside the car felt heavy, and an unnatural chill settled in. He reached for the radio, hoping to break the silence and dispel the eerie atmosphere with some music. Static crackled through the speakers, and the signal seemed to fade in and out. An unsettling voice emerged from the noise, whispering indistinct words that sent a shiver down Jake's spine. He fumbled to turn off the radio, but the whispers persisted, echoing in his mind like a haunting refrain. Suddenly, the headlights flickered, and the engine sputtered as if gasping for breath. Panic gripped Jake as the car slowed to a crawl, eventually coming to a complete stop. He tried the ignition, but the engine remained unresponsive. Alone in the darkness, Jake felt a sense of vulnerability he had never experienced before. As he contemplated his next move, a figure emerged from the fog ahead. A silhouette of a woman, clad in a tattered white dress, appeared on the side of the road. Her movements were slow and deliberate as she approached the stranded car. Jake hesitated, his instincts warning him of potential danger, but a desperate need for assistance overcame his reservations. Rolling down the window, Jake called out to the mysterious figure, "Hey, do you know what's wrong with my car? I'm stuck here." The woman's face remained obscured by the darkness, but her voice carried a haunting, melodic quality. "You're not the first to be stranded on this road, nor will you be the last. It hungers for company, you see." Unease tightened its grip on Jake's chest. "What are you talking about? Can you help me or not?" The woman extended a pale, slender hand toward Jake. "Come with me, and all will be revealed." Despite the warning bells in his mind, Jake found himself compelled to exit the car and follow the mysterious woman into the fog. As they walked, the fog seemed to swirl and dance around them, creating an otherworldly tableau. The woman began to recount the dark history of the highway, a history tainted by tragedy, betrayal, and an ancient curse that bound lost souls to the desolate stretch of road. She spoke of a spectral procession that played out each night, as the ghosts of those who had met untimely ends wandered the highway in search of salvation. Jake listened with a mixture of fascination and dread as the woman described the tormented spirits that lurked in the shadows. Victims of accidents, travelers betrayed by the ones they trusted, and souls trapped in a never-ending cycle of despair. The highway had become a purgatory for the lost, a place where the line between the living and the dead blurred. As the woman spoke, Jake began to sense a malevolent force closing in around them. The air grew colder, and the once distant whispers became a cacophony of anguished voices. Shadows danced in the periphery, and Jake felt the weight of unseen eyes watching his every move. Suddenly, the woman stopped and turned to face Jake. Her eyes, gleaming with an otherworldly light, bore into his soul. "You have a choice to make, traveler. Leave this place and forget what you have witnessed, or become a part of the eternal procession, bound to the highway for all eternity. The gravity of the situation sank in, and Jake felt a surge of fear and determination. He couldn't accept the fate that awaited him on this haunted highway. With newfound resolve, he turned away from the woman and sprinted back toward his stranded car. The fog seemed to resist his escape, clinging to him like ethereal tendrils. The whispers grew louder, taunting him with fragmented memories of the highway's tragic past. Jake reached his car, desperately trying to start the engine once more. Miraculously, the car roared to life, and he sped away from the haunting specter that lingered in the mist. As he drove, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that the highway was alive, a malevolent entity with a hunger for the souls of the lost. The events of that night haunted his dreams, and the memories of the ghostly woman and the tormented spirits lingered in the recesses of his mind. In the days that followed, Jake struggled to convince himself that what he had experienced was a mere hallucination brought on by exhaustion and fear. Yet as he passed through the Texas City night on other highways, he couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows still whispered, and the specters of the past continued their eternal procession along the haunted road. The highway had claimed its victims, and Jake was left to wonder if he had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death.
Story 2.
The night was still in Texas City, a place known for its vibrant culture and lively atmosphere during the day. However, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the deserted streets, an eerie silence settled in. The usual hustle and bustle had given way to an unsettling stillness, broken only by the occasional distant howl of a lone coyote. In the heart of Texas City, there stood an old and abandoned mansion, shrouded in mystery and local legends. The mansion had a dark history, with tales of disappearances and strange occurrences that dated back decades. Many believed it was haunted, and locals would avoid it at all costs after dark. However, on this particular night, a group of 5 friends dared to challenge the urban legends and venture into the decaying halls of the mansion. The friends, consisting of Jake, Sarah, Mike, Emily, and Alex, were thrill-seekers who loved exploring abandoned places. Armed with flashlights and a sense of excitement, they gathered at the entrance of the mansion. The wrought iron gate creaked open reluctantly, as if warning them to turn back. Ignoring the ominous sign, the group entered the mansion, their footsteps echoing through the empty halls. As they explored room after room, the friends began to sense an otherworldly presence. Shadows danced on the walls, and strange whispers seemed to float through the air. Unease settled over the group, but they pressed on, driven by a combination of curiosity and youthful bravado. In one room, they discovered a collection of old photographs and newspaper clippings, revealing the mansion's dark past. The mansion had once belonged to a wealthy family, but tragedy struck when the youngest daughter, Isabella, went missing under mysterious circumstances. The family was devastated, and rumors circulated that Isabella's spirit still haunted the mansion. As the group delved deeper into the mansion, strange things started happening. Doors slammed shut on their own, cold drafts swept through the rooms, and the temperature seemed to drop dramatically. Despite these unsettling occurrences, the friends remained determined to unravel the mysteries of the mansion. In the heart of the mansion, they stumbled upon a hidden door leading to a secret underground chamber. The air grew thicker as they descended into the darkness, and the feeling of being watched intensified. In the dim light, they discovered an ancient ritual chamber adorned with symbols and artifacts related to dark magic. As the friends explored the chamber, they unwittingly triggered a paranormal force that awakened the vengeful spirit of Isabella. Shadows twisted and contorted, and the temperature plummeted to freezing levels. Panic set in as the friends realized they had unleashed a malevolent force beyond their understanding. Isabella's spirit, tormented and enraged, manifested in the form of eerie apparitions. The friends, now desperate to escape the mansion, found themselves trapped in a nightmarish labyrinth of shifting hallways and illusions. Each member of the group faced their own fears and regrets as Isabella's spirit toyed with their minds. As the night wore on, the line between the living and the dead blurred. The friends struggled to maintain their sanity as Isabella's spirit sought revenge for the injustices that had befallen her. The mansion itself seemed to come alive, with walls groaning and floors creaking under the weight of the supernatural presence. In a desperate attempt to break free, the friends attempted a ritual to appease Isabella's spirit. However, the ancient forces unleashed proved uncontrollable, leading to a series of horrifying events that pushed the group to the brink of madness. Each member faced their darkest fears, and the group's bonds were tested as they confronted the consequences of their actions. As dawn approached, the friends stumbled out of the mansion, battered and changed by the night's ordeal. The once vibrant Texas city now bore witness to a group forever scarred by the horrors they had experienced. The mansion stood silent once more, its secrets buried within its decaying walls. The legend of Texas City's haunted mansion persisted, warning those who dared to venture near. The friends, forever haunted by the memories of that fateful night, went their separate ways, carrying with them the weight of the supernatural events that had unfolded in the heart of the Texas night.